It's Thursday, September 7th, 2017. It's time for WorthPoint Chats with Harry Rinker. I'm Greg Watkins from WorthPoint.com, and it's time for our weekly conversation with our antiques and collectibles expert, Harry Rinker. Harry, how you doing tonight?
Relieved. I'm very relieved.
Relieved.
That I flew home from Florida on Monday.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yes, the tale of woe that we had getting home, the point where because of bad weather, we had to fly. Originally, we were going to fly out to Tulsa, up through Missouri and Kansas, and then back into Detroit. Eventually, we wound up flying to Atlanta, changing pilots, and then flying out to St. Louis, up to Chicago, over Grand Rapids. I wish they would have just pulled and let us off. We didn't get home into Detroit till 12:30, missing, of course, our connection to here, only to find out that the hotel voucher that they told us was good for the hotel turned only out to be a discount voucher, not a free room at the Hyatt at the hotel. So we wound up at 12:30 in the morning trying to find a rental car that we could rent one way to take from the Detroit airport to Grand Rapids. But thanks to Emerald, we won't mention the airline I am not thanking, but thanks to Emerald, we had a very nice guy and got a very decent rate and drove home, getting home at 3:30 in the morning. So Linda could go to work at 6 o'clock.
Wow.
Yes.
Okay. So how's the condo? Are you confident it'll hold up?
That's interesting. Well, you know, people have always accused me of having maybe not always the most sympathetic attitude. So for the first comment I will make is my condo's on the second floor. So if the first floor condos flood, what do I care? Right. But we are inland in Orlando. And we just had the sun portion closed in glass. And there were very strict requirements about the type of glass we were allowed to use. And it had to be hurricane proof. Now, unfortunately, only up to 80-mile-an-hour winds, and this one's back and winds more than that. So we're a bit
almost twice as much.
Yes. Well, no, don't tell me that. They're not 160-mile-an-hour winds on the outside. Now, it's a question of whether the Hurricane Irma is decided to head straight for Orlando, is going to go up the coast. Of course, me being totally sympathetic hopes it goes up the coast and beats the heck out of those people, so it doesn't rain as much in Orlando. But my neighbor, thank gosh, who was through Hurricane Andrew, on Tuesday they went out to buy supplies, and the water was gone, the sodas were gone, the store shelves were empty. Now, to the credit of Publix and a lot of stores, they're trucking food in there left and right, and they're scheduling and keeping a lot of those stores open way past the evacuation deadline. So I'm impressed. Anyway, he called me up and he said, well, you know, that back porch door, Harry, water could get leaking through there. He says, I'm going over and, you know, putting cloth down and sandbagging that door and putting clothes up. And I'm thinking, God bless my neighbor, you know?
Yes.
I'm not scared or nervous, but the problem is that my biggest fear is not flooding. Is after you see the devastation of these winds in the islands and so forth, they could take the roof off. If you take the roof off, no matter what precautions you have, if you're on a 2-story building and you're on the second floor, now you got big problems, right?
Right.
So I'm nervous. I'm in this school of thought, you know, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. What can I do about it at this point? First of all, I'm not down here.
You just have to hope for the best.
Yes, you can. And, you know, and assuming there is a higher deity and that I am in favor, I should be okay. Or Linda and I should be okay. We'll see. It'll be interesting. But it raises an interesting point. I got a note from Amy asking if I would write a piece for the WorthPoint newsletter about the impact of natural disasters. And on the trade, because clearly they have an impact. I mean,
yes.
And so I have an interesting thing. I contacted some of my friends down in Texas, started there with this whole story. And I want to share a little bit with you what I found out here in the last couple of days. First of all, I contacted Eric Bradley, who's over at the Heritage Gallery.
Dallas, right?
Yeah, firstly they're in Dallas, so they escaped all this stuff. But he told me that one of the major antique shows of the year in Houston, which is was scheduled for September 15th, 16th, and 17th, Dolphin Productions out of Chicago, canceled their show. So I called Rosemary Krieger, who is the gal in charge, and said, "What's going on down there?" She said, "Well, the building we were in was not flooded. Okay, the convention center they use was not flooded, but she said the surrounding areas were. So first of all, she had no knowledge whether or not they could even get people to the show, let alone the dealers. Okay, yeah. So I asked her about, well, what about her dealers in Houston? And she said, well, she did not hear from any of them that there were problems. That apparently there was a section of antique galleries. Now, she doesn't do low-end shows. And apparently they were in a hillier part, and they survived without any flooding. And so, but the areas around them, just like the convention center where she was, or the center where she does her show, was hard hit. And her comment was, this is the first time in 30 years that I've canceled a show anywhere, course of her career. Now, this is a whole nother matter about aging show managers. But, one of the big problems we're having in the trade right now, I'm getting a little off track here, is the fact that our show managers are aging out. And there's no younger people coming forward to pick up their stuff. And when I went on her website and looked at her assistant personnel, they look about as old as she is. So, it's going to be a huge problem in another 5 or 10 years. Well, anyway, so I got to talking to her, and I said, well, at least the good news is you have insurance on your shows, don't you? That if you have to cancel a show, you're not on the hook. And she said, no, I don't. I said, what do you mean, no, you don't? She said, well, one of the consequences of 2011, all right, 911, 2001, September 11th, 2001,
right,
was the fact that they used a lot of the show venues in New York, the Pier, the Armory, as temporary morgues. And so the shows for the next 6 months to almost 9 months were canceled in New York in 2001. And the insurance company paid out huge sums of money because the promoters at that time had show cancellation contracts, right?
Right.
So what do you think happened to the rates?
They skyrocketed.
Yes, they did because of that disaster. And the rates skyrocketed so high that show promoters no longer carry insurance on their shows. They self-insure. Now, that's a risky business when you're in tens of thousands of dollars of advance money for rental, so forth, and all of a sudden you don't do it. And she was very philosophical about it. She said, well, it's the first time in 30 years and I can handle this. And I said, okay, what about your dealers? It's a revenue stream game for a lot of these dealers, and they count on show revenue. And let's suppose you do 12 shows a year, and you lose, and the better shows are maybe producing 10% of your revenue a year. Losing 10% of your revenue is huge. Not just that, but after an event like this, who is going to want to spend money on antiques and collectibles? I mean, people are going to be rebuilding their houses or doing whatever. I mean, it ain't going to be a spending mood time. And I don't know if it's going to be a spending mood time by Christmas. I figure the recovery time has got to be 4 to 6 months or longer.
Right.
Before any level of normalcy.
They can't even start rebuilding now because they've got to wait for Houston to dry out.
Well, it's not just that, but we're a discretionary income business, and if these people didn't have protection, especially the flood victims, because they didn't have flood insurance, okay?
Yeah.
You got a real problem, a big problem. Truly, you do. So I called another thing that I did of researching this piece for Amy, and by the way, this will be in the newsletter too, probably in as much detail as I'm talking about it now, or more, because I want you to talk to some people. But I asked them about insurance. Now, boy, oh boy, this is another good fun thing too. If you're a collector, and one of the things we always talk about with collectors, if you're going to insure your antiques and collectibles with anybody, whether it's with one of the specialized companies that insures antiques and collectibles, or whether or not it's with a general insurance company, you need to insure them under a fine arts rider. That's called marine inland insurance, right?
Okay.
Are you ready for this? If you're
Yeah.
a collector and you've insured anything in your house, whether it's your jewelry or your furs or your guns or anything else under a marine inland insurance clause in your insurance, that automatically includes flood damage. So if the collector has the collection insured under a marine inland insurance, and like the National Collectors Association, they write homeowners insurance and dealer insurance, okay? They write marine inland insurance for all collections. So at least the collector is protected. Now, what about the dealer? Dealer can't get that. The dealer can't get that at all. So they can't, unless they have flood insurance, they're kafluid. But
Yeah.
a homeowner who doesn't have the stuff insured under marine insurance, you think they're up the creek. Well, here's the deal. If something is going to happen to your house, pray for the roof to be blown off or the windows to be broken and the water comes in from above, because above is covered by your homeowner's insurance.
Interesting.
Flooding is not, but wind.
Right. Generally,
wind damage and water damage is. So, you have to tell them the roof blew off your house before you flooded. So you can recover. No, but I didn't. Now look, I like to think I'm pretty knowledgeable about this business, but I didn't know that. I did not. And so, we have apartment renters insurance, and I piss and moan about the amount of money we have to spend every time I get the damn bill. But the point of the matter is, being on the second floor, I'm not going to flood. So if windows get broken or the roof goes off and place is flooded, I'm going to get everything paid for. Amazing, isn't it?
Yes. Yes.
But it's still frightening. Now, in my case, smart guy that I am, the antiques I have down there are inside my house, inside and not out on the sun porch where the thing is going to strike if it strikes anywhere. Now, if the roof blows off, anything inside the house is dead anyway. But one of the things that I didn't do, and my next door neighbor is still willing to do whatever I want because the hurricane isn't going to hit Orlando area until Saturday. I may have him take out the things that are sitting on a shelf and put them on the floor, because I've been around enough to know that high wind may not break a window. It may not, but it can jiggle things a lot. And so if you have stuff on shelves and you don't have it secure on the shelves, and I don't live in a hurricane-prone area or a tornado-prone area, so I don't have any of that museum sticky stuff to hold the stuff on the shelves.
Mm-hmm.
And it's there now in the China cabinet we just built. I had special shelf supports built so that the shelves are solid. All too often I go into homes when I'm checking out things, and there is a whole China cabinet or something filled with glass, and you can see the shelf sitting on about a 1/16 of an inch of the one support because it shifted one way or the other. And all you have to do is sneeze and the whole thing collapses, and it's like the Twin Towers. If the first one goes on the top, man, you're dead all the way down the pile.
That's right.
So when I had the unit built in Florida to hold the stemware and dinnerware service and so forth, that my wife bought I had those shelves cut really tight and the clips really stuck in there, so I feel pretty good that I'm secure that way. Now, all this has got to do with we haven't even talked about what preps at the point. But here's the deal. My insurance company in Florida has been sending me emails and saying, here's your policy number, here's your contact number. We're getting all of this to you in advance in case you don't have your personal papers with you or your personal papers get lost, so you know where to do it. Now, here's the other deal for them. If the power goes out and I don't have access to the internet, who the hell cares anyway? Because nobody can call them. But I thought that was clever. Also, they made it very clear. Flood insurance carries a 30-day waiver. Now, you can't buy flood insurance in Florida now. You didn't own it 30 days ago. You're up the creek without a paddle.
Right.
They say.
Right.
But so I said to the people of the National Collectors Association about their insurance for collectors. I said, well, suppose I called you up and said I want to insure the material in my place under Bermuda Inland Insurance, and they said nope. They said you wouldn't believe the number of calls we're getting. And I said, well, what's going on there? And they said the minute there's a named disaster, all new insurance policies shut down. You can't get insurance. No, I know. Interesting. All this is interesting to me. Now,
yeah,
I'm still trying to get some leads in Houston, or well, I don't want to say Houston because it's not fair to the people in Texas to keep talking about Houston all the time because the devastation along the coast and
it's all over,
Corpus
right?
Christi, Galveston, and Beaumont, and all these other places was enormous. But I'm trying to get a hold of some people down there that were collectors or had a mall that was possibly impacted. And I'm going to be working on that tomorrow. Meanwhile, I do know a lot of the malls and stuff down in Texas and people I can talk to down there because this storm is going to hit on the weekend when Rinker's is normally open in Mount Dora.
Yeah.
I'll be able to call Rinker's on Monday and Tuesday, assuming they have power, and talk to the people down there and get a read on what happened and how they handled it. But it's going to impact the trade big time in those states for a while. And it's sad. It's sad. Every time there's a loss, it's there. We talked last week about my website, harryrinker.com, right? And
Yeah.
And the URL about my special columns and the 4 columns on dealing with floodwaters. So we're not going to go into that again tonight. But I wanted to share with everybody what I've been learning so far. I'm not at the end of this story, but it is fascinating to me to learn what I did learn. And also, I want to, thank the show promoter who literally took a beating. Of course, she'll have to return all the dealers' deposits and everything's on that show. Now, she also has, lucky her, shows in West Palm Beach, Florida, which is not a place to be having shows either right now. But
No.
her fall shows are over, thank goodness for her. And she won't be opening up until January, and she's hopeful things will get restored. Now, strangely enough, the thing that fascinates me more is how Disney's going to handle this. Now, as you know, I have season passes to Disney, and I have a lot of respect for Disney's ability. And I wonder, first of all, if they evacuate Central Florida, does that mean Disney sends all their guests out of there? Or do they say, hey, we're going to have a party on the 3rd floor of the Wilderness Lodge during this interesting event of ours coming in? But on the other hand, we are scheduled to go over to Disney at September 23rd, 2nd. No, we're flying down 21st, yeah, that weekend. And my bet is the park will look untouched. That they can move that fast to fix it. Now, I could be wrong.
Yeah, they've got
Well, I think the thing is, if the eye stays along the coast, that will be the case. If the eye comes right up through the center part of the state, I'm not sure about that. But the Disney thing is incredible, and I shall have much interest. Well, anyway, I'm sorry it's a little long-winded, but we have a couple of objects, and we can certainly kill enough time with those here for the balance of this. No, but I got an email from one of our viewers who has a bomb, a practice bomb. And I said to myself, who doesn't have an old military practice bomb sitting around, right? So he sends me a picture of this bomb. So let's get the picture of the bomb up on the screen. All right. And there it is. Now, please understand that the figure on top of the bomb is a Batman action figure and not Batman. All right. But some information about the bomb that he sent me here real quick. It weighs 25 pounds. The bomb has a smoke bomb down the middle, so the pilot or his helper could look back and see how close he came to the target. What's its value? And I said, who doesn't have an old smoke practice bomb in the basement? Little did I know that apparently it's a large number of people that do. And not just that, I went up to a website called NebraskaAirCrash.com. Now, you would never expect to go to a website called NebraskaAirCrash.com and find a detailed study of World War II practice bombs and pre-World War II practice bombs too. So I immediately went up to there and I saw all these practice bombs, and one of them kind of looked like this, but I thought, you know what, it's not exactly like this. What I need to do is go look for something else. So I know what I should have done. We'll talk about this. I should have gone to WorthPoint.com, but instead I went to a website called armslist.com and found an advertisement for a 25-pound Vietnam era MK-76 dummy training bomb, which turned out to be identical to the one this guy owns. Okay?
Okay.
Now,
without the Batman, though, right?
No, without the Batman, yes, we'll dismiss Batman here. And not just that, but the listing had a detailed history on the M76 practice bomb, which was used by the Navy. This is very important for the moment. It's found on Lexicon's WordPress.com. A whole detail. And the article says the MK-76 is only about 2 feet long, weighs 25 pounds, has a fat little front body with a set of fins welded to that body. The center of the bomb body and fins is hollow. There is a charge in the nose that goes off when the bomb impacts and points, and the point of impact is marked with white smoke from the charge. Now, at night, there's a visible flash, so you can practice night bombing with it as well. Now, first of all, this website, besides providing all this important detailed information, also made note that there was an Air Force version of the MK-76, which is the BDU-33, exactly the same bomb. Well, my friend Mr. Greg goes up and finds out, why not see what they have to offer on WorthPoint, right?
Right.
And so he types in practice bomb, and he is going to tell me that there were 6,194 listings for practice bombs.
That's right. Many of them looking exactly like our Batman bomb.
I told him he was full of it. And he said, no, Harry, there is. So I said, go to page 5. I didn't say to go, well, I should really have you go to page 62.
Okay.
62 and see if there's still bombs there, because let's hope there's not. I can't. Oh, well, good. No, there's pictures of planes with bombs. So,
yeah. Yeah.
Well, but that's all right. But this is, I mean, okay. But now let's go back. Let's go back and type in practice bomb MK-76. No, MK.
Oh, MK. Well,
you got them up anyway.
Yeah.
But look at this. Here they are, and let's look at some of the prices here. Now, I found my recommendation is that the bomb is worth between $65 and $75 if it's in decent shape. Let's take a look at some of the prices. Oh, here's one for $139, and in 2017 too.
That was only a couple months ago. Yeah.
Yeah, I should say. Now, here's the problem. Let's go back to that listing. Here is the problem. A practice bomb closely resembles a mortar bomb. Ones are, they dip them in the mortars and send them out.
Right.
And you can confuse it. They can easily be confused. You have to look at the writing on the side of the bomb to make sure you're not looking at a mortar bomb. All right.
Well, this one for 139, the listing says practice dummy bomb, artillery shell, which is either you can't be both.
It can't be both. That's right. It can't be both. That's right. Going down to the one with all the wording on it in the second thing is another good example. There is $113.50, and that sold in 2012. So you can see that the prices have stayed pretty steady. Maybe I'm a little conservative saying $75, but there are listings on eBay at the moment for these bonds between 65 and 75 with a buy it now price. So, but here's a great example of this. You ready for this?
Yeah.
Why are those idiots didn't do their homework on WorthPoint, right? Why didn't they do this and know that 65, $75 is not a good price? I mean, it might sell it through quickly, but they could easily go 95 to 100 and still be below some of the prices that we're seeing here, right?
You would think, and the only thing I can think of that you might want to lowball the price is if you were asking the buyer to pay the shipping versus the seller paying the shipping.
Yeah, but these prices at
25 pounds is going to cost a little bit.
But we're looking here at prices that don't include shipping, are we? When you get
does not include the shipping, so we don't know who paid the shipping cost.
So we don't know how much they're paying shipping costs for these things too, right?
Correct. Or whether it's the buyer or seller who's paying for it.
Right. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, you had discovered if you typed in BU33 right there, right up at the top, you picked up some of the Army versions of this too. I believe.
Yeah. Wait, is BD? It's not BU, right? BD.
BD 33. But I think we found. You guys separated, I think.
Yeah. They're not coming up that way.
And you may have to capitalize it too. Capital B, capital D.
The capitalization doesn't make any difference in WorthPoint.
It does not.
It does not.
No, wait a minute.
I had found one
about that.
All right. Well, let's find out.
Or what about BU 33? Instead of BD, try BU 33. Because I have it as double digit.
No.
Just try it without the there. You try Pactor's Bomb 33. Because we had it up before.
Yeah. Okay. Now we're getting BDU 33.
BDU 33. That's what I had down. Anyway, look, they're a little cheaper than the other ones. I don't know why you should pay less for an Army bomb.
Well, this is the Air Force.
Or the Air Force bomb. Maybe there's more of those that survived.
I think maybe the Navy's got a little bit more
cachet to it, do you think?
Yeah, a little bit more romanticism.
Well, I don't know, man. I can't wait till we get the nasty letters from the Army people here.
yeah. We'll have a fight.
We'll have a fight. But anyway, so we just now forgetting this, but going back to the MK76s, we discovered an interesting thing too, that we looked through the first couple of pages and we noticed that all the ones for sale were on the same background, right? Or the same.
Yeah, there were a lot of pictures when we just that's when you had me go to page 5 of Practice Bomb.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and so the question is, and the reason I wanted to mention, let's go to page 5 here.
Yep, here we
go.
The
reason I wanted to talk about this, and this is why using WorthPoint and looking at this stuff, it makes so much more sense. Now, one of two things could have happened. The individual could have put multiple pictures up, when he sold the object, at which point each picture appears as a separate listing on WorthPoint, right?
Yeah.
The other thing, however, is that he could have a stash of them. You know, used military surplus is sold as used military surplus, and somebody might have bought a truckload of used bombs.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Well, it looks like many of these they have minor differences in the
format.
Well, I don't know if you can see this here. This picture here has got some marks on that top arc there,
Yeah.
which is different from this one, which is different from this one.
I see.
And this one has a little ridge at the top here. So these look like different bombs on the same piece of carpet.
Yeah. Well, the website I have, the lexicons.wordpress.com, a whole bunch of things. This is going to be in my column 1061 due out in early October on my website if somebody wants to go and pull it. But anyway, there it showed pictures in Vietnam of them loading these bombs up to use them for practice. It was kind of very interesting. And again, why do we go to all of this stuff? Is it, you know, some people say, well, you're just doing a sales pitch for WorthPoint. No, we're not. We're trying to show you the fun of looking at this, researching it, asking questions, trying to learn more history. I mean, now you know more about practice bombs, but only Vietnam era practice bombs. Try practice bombs World War II, see what you come up with.
All right.
Yeah, because they were bigger ones. I mean, man, those were big suckers, some of those. Well, there were some lightweight ones too, but yeah, look at that. There's a whole different styles, right?
Yeah.
Well, not a real bomb or practice piece.
That's not a real one. That's only a 13-inch duplicate.
Yeah, but that's sold for $130 some odd, right?
Yeah.
Well, even that has some value. My gosh. $213. Hey, if your relative brought home a practice bomb and turned it into a lamp, and you could easily do that because remember it's got that hole drilled in there.
Yep.
Take the lamp apart and sell the bomb.
Actually, here let's go back because
you found one, a lamp, a bomb lamp.
Yep.
There it is. I'll be hooched. Well, is there cash from trash? Is there no? There no?
It's got a little Marine Corps.
A couple of cartridges in there too. We won't get into collecting ashtrays and other things that guys made out of leftover parts of the military. But anyway, what a fun piece. All right. Well, next week, I'm sure I'll have some more follow-up on the flood business. Certainly we'll know what happened in Orlando. But hey, what about you? Do you have something you'd like to talk to us about, like us to talk about here on the air? We'd love to hear from you. Our email is community@worthpoint.com, community@worthpoint.com. Also, if you would like to send us a picture of something for us to talk about, that's address works for that as well, community@worthpoint.com. Please, when you send it, send as much information as you can. And if you bought it, tell us what you bought it for. Send it. The provenance size is a big help. But most importantly, include a bunch of JPEG pictures too. It's a lot more fun doing something when we have photographs of it.
That's true.
Anyway, I hate to tell you, but instead of doing this on Wednesday night, we're doing this on Thursday night, and Thursday night football is on. So
yeah. Well, good night. We'll see you next week, Harry.
That was a little abrupt, but okay, you got the point.
That's okay. Looks like the Chiefs are up 10-7.
No.
Yeah.
Well,
right, we'll say good night now, Harry.
There were a lot of teams that were up on the Big Ten last week, but that didn't work either.
Yeah. All right, Harry. We'll see you next week. Good night.
Good night, sir.